When I'm really anxious, the thing that helps me instantly and makes me feel immediately better is when I go talk to my mom and I tell her everything and she says, "Don't be ridiculous, it's all going to be okay, you're going to be okay." When I hear someone else reassure me, all of my anxiety suddenly melts away. So it sucked when I found out that people with OCD like me are not supposed to seek reassurance from other people. Reassurance looks like getting other people to tell us, "Oh, don't worry, you don't need to wash your hands, you just washed them a minute ago." Stuff like that when they are contradicting all of our anxieties. First, let's talk about why many people with OCD crave reassurance. So, as a lot of you know, OCD stands for obsessive compulsive disorder. The obsession part of that is thinking about and ruminating over specific anxieties and rituals, mostly that are very irrational. So, for example, one of my obsessions is I worry about my bed being dirty or going to bed dirty. So that's the obsession. The compulsion part is performing a ritual or a habit that relieves the obsession for a moment or a short amount of time. So if I brush that pajama pant against a wall as I'm walking to get water or something like that, I will either take Lysol spray and spray the side of my pant so that it's clean again, or I'll just switch into a clean pair of pajama pants. So when someone performs the compulsion, their anxiety often melts away right away. Like when someone washes their hands, they don't worry about germs anymore. But OCD is a cycle, and because they are feeding into that cycle, the next time they have an obsession, they're gonna wash their hands again, even if it's irrational, even if your hands are dry and chapped and bleeding. They will feed into that cycle because it's an instant way to get short relief, and it's the easiest way and the way that they've been dealing with this anxiety in the past. So in my treatment with OCD, what I have found is that before I relieve my anxieties about the obsession part of OCD, the first thing that we try to tackle is the compulsion part. So for example, talking about the bed instance, before we talked about relieving my anxiety about the bed being dirty or going to sleep dirty, the first thing we did is get someone to sit on the edge of your bed in their outside clothes when they are quote unquote dirty. So the first thing before worrying about relieving the anxiety is we tried to counteract the compulsion. This is exposure therapy. So a lot of the times when I'm doing research in this, we'll see that the first step to helping OCD is exposing oneself to the triggers that upset them. So let's look at reassurance, at getting someone to reassure you and tell you that everything's going to be okay, that your thoughts are irrational. Let's look at that as performing a compulsion. Seeking out reassurance is just another way of washing your hands, of changing your pajama pants before you go to bed. It's just feeding into that cycle. You get that instant relief, and then soon that obsession is going to come back and you're going to seek more reassurance. A lot of people in my own life, like my mom, my friends and stuff like that, get annoyed because I'll ask them for reassurance. They'll give it to me. They'll say that's irrational, like you don't have to do that. And then a few minutes later, the obsessions will start coming back and I'll say, I want them to go away right away. I'll just ask for reassurance again. I'll just ask, are you sure this is okay? And then it becomes a vicious cycle and it consumes a lot of time and it's frustrating for the people who are close to me and myself too. But friends and family of people with OCD might not realize that giving reassurance is counteractive to people with OCD, because a lot of the times for people who don't suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, giving reassurance is a way of support. But this is not the case for people who do suffer from OCD. Giving reassurance and seeking reassurance is just feeding into that compulsion. So a lot of the times it's confused with support, but it doesn't work that way with people with OCD. My advice, not as a medical professional at all, but as someone who has suffered with OCD for many, many years, is for people with OCD struggling with seeking reassurance is to first best sit with the discomfort that they are feeling in their obsessions. Just sit with it and consider everything. Even though people with OCD know that their obsessions are irrational, what helps for me is to think about, even if this does happen, if this very irrational thought does come true, even if I have a horrible sleep because my pant leg touched the wall, what's the worst that will happen? What will my day look like tomorrow? So first, start with anxieties that are small. Like for me, the bed and going to bed clean or dirty was one of my smaller obsessions compared to bigger obsessions about morality and going to hell and stuff like that. So start with the little ones first, and of course do this all alongside a therapist or a medical professional if that's possible for you. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, you guys, and feel free to leave me any questions in the comments. I'll try to do my best to answer them, and subscribe for more content about OCD and mental health. Of course, again, I'm not a medical professional, I'm just someone who has experienced this. And I will be linking all the sources that I have been using to research this in the description below, so feel free to check those out. Yeah, so thanks guys, bye.